Like, dude, I was suicidal my whole life. I was depressed my whole life. And when I started to believe in myself and started to stop believing the lies, the unlearning process and learning a new way of thinking, and then learning that the new way of thinking could create a new feeling, and then identifying the things that, gosh, I was complaining, I was blaming, I was justifying, and then getting in a 12-step program where they're like, hey, yeah, we can't we can't be resentful at any of these people. We have a partner.
Welcome, guys, to the Journey to Solutions podcast, where we interview people from all walks of life who overcome the impossible. Their stories shine light on one simple truth: no matter your past, no matter your pain, with the power of God, anything is possible. And today's special guest is a great friend of mine and just a great individual in general, a big Jesus lover, a man of God, and this person has done amazing things, from being in the UFC to overcoming addiction, to walking through hardships, to just being a person who just wants to serve God, just wants to serve the people. And he genuinely does care about those who are suffering. And he's been able to use his success as a platform to reach the masses. And he's been getting over 120 million views a month organically, where he gets to spread the word of God, the word of hope, and the word of purpose. And so, guys, I want you guys to get ready, because this is going to be an incredible episode. And I want to introduce Blake Bilder.
What's up, Fausto? How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, dude, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed, man. I started my day, hands and knees, head to the floor in complete surrender. Gave my life to God, as I do every day, just to guide me on the 24 hours ahead, or my waking hours ahead, rather. And just more of him and less of me, because my own thinking, when it's just me, I get in my own way, but when I surrender my will over to God, it just seems like things might not go the way that I want them, but that's usually when God's will is stepping in, and cool things have been happening ever since 20, when I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. It's just been a blessing, man, especially as of lately, and me and you connecting and growing closer. It's been awesome.
No, I love that, man. I think it's beautiful, because I think as a lot of people start to get a lot of what would you say, success in the social media world, and not just financial success. I meant just that level of attention that you're getting, and that level of authority that you have on a platform.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful that you're still able to be like, no, I'm okay with saying I believe in Jesus. Like, I'm okay that I talk about God. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm going to stick with it, whether people like it or not. I think a lot of times people can feel, it's one of those things, right? It's not that they don't want to talk about it, but maybe they're afraid of pushing people away. They don't want people to feel like you're trying to press something on them. Or, you just get distracted by the world and the shiny things, and you start to, drift off. What is it for you, before we dive deeper into your story, what is it for you that you find it important to still, really promote your faith on your platform? And what helps you not feel shame to let people know that you believe in Jesus?
Okay, that's a great question, right? Because when I learned the difference between guilt and shame, it really opened up my eyes. And I used to feel a lot of shame, right, for a lot of things that I did. And I let people say, like, how could you? And there was like points where, even as a believer, there was legalism that came involved. And I think a lot of people suffer from that. For my faith, I used to feel guilty if I did something wrong. And or guilt is, I did something wrong, I feel bad for it, I'll repent, right? But shame is, I am wrong. It's
Yeah,
like
you
guilt.
identify with it.
Yeah, guilt's like I made a mistake, and
Mhm.
shame is I
I
am
am
a
the mistake.
mistake,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I heard that, and I go, wow, I've been believing that I'm a mistake for so long. And that's not biblical. That's not what God wants us to think and feel. And there was a lady by the name of Shelly. It was my buddy's mom. And when I moved from Georgia up to Minnesota, I lived with my other buddy and his mom, and she was like a devout Christian. And me and my buddy were watching comedy one day, and I was like trying to do everything right, you know, still struggling in my faith, still struggling to work and get myself together. And I remember one time she came back, and it was her home, and I was in the living room watching some comic view, like some like Shaquille O'Neal All-Star Comedy Jam. So
Okay,
it was
nice.
pretty, you know, it was worldly humor, you know, and they were definitely going in, and her family came back from the state fair, and she goes, "Hey, Blake, turn that off." And I go, "Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just about to turn it off." And she looked at me and she goes, "Hey, I thought you were better than that." I guess not. And like went and did the dishes, and I was like, and I remembered like the weight of the world crashing down on me, because this is somebody that I looked up to so much. Like, and I feel like all of us have been there at some point in our faith where somebody we looked up to and maybe put on a pedestal
Mm,
for Christianity or
mhm,
spirituality or religion, whatever
mhm.
you want to call it. And I just felt so demeaned in that moment. And I remember being like, I'm trying so hard and I can't even watch comedy. Like I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, and
Uh,
yeah, I think people don't realize like how powerful your words are, especially when someone looks up to you and respects you.
yeah,
And, saying something can literally change the trajectory of someone's life in a very negative way, especially when you're
totally.
young and you can't discern from what is right and wrong.
So I went down a path where I started going back to my old ways, and then I ended up getting moving out of that house into a new house, and things were crumbling. And then the new house I was at, the lady told me, you have 2 days to get out before I'm locking all the doors on you, and you're not going to be able to get back in. I hit up my buddy, and his mom goes, "Hey, I prayed for what I should do with the space in the basement just this morning." And she's like, and that's my routine. And she's like, "Let me ask you a quick question." She's like, "What time did that lady say she's gonna kick you out?" I was like, 7:30. I right before she goes to work. She goes, "I wake up at 5 a.m. and I read the Bible for 30 minutes, and then I pray for 30 minutes." So at 5:30, I was praying for what to do with the space in the basement, and 7:30, God is answering. She's like, "You have a place to stay here." And she's like, "I don't believe in coincidences." And somebody told me recently that a coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And I was like, "Whoa, no way." She's like, "Rent's gonna be this much." It was like nothing, virtually nothing. And and I moved in, and that lady changed my life, because I felt a lot of like pain and grief, and I was having sleep paralysis. And she goes, "Hey, I want you to fill out this sheet of things." And she's like, "And we're gonna pray over you." And it got to one point, she's like, "Has anybody like told you that you aren't enough, and that you being you isn't good?" And I just broke down, like bawling, like couldn't even catch my breath. And I was like, I've been trying so hard, and I'm going down the wrong path, and I can't get anything right. And I'm so thankful that I'm here, but I was so hurt, and I went back to my old ways." And she put her hand on my shoulder, and she goes, "Blake, I want you to know that that's legalism. That you're measured by abiding by the law." She's like, "We're saved by grace."
Mhm.
She's like, You are saved, Blake. It's okay. You're forgiven. Now we shouldn't stay there, right? We should definitely up our standard, but that's totally legalism. Blake, you are loved and you are forgiven, and God loves you. And that moment changed my life, bro. That moment in time changed my life, and that's when I really started correcting the course of my actions
Wow.
and getting things together. So
So what I'm hearing is you had okay, so I have experience. You have an experience with a legalistic Christian, right, by the
right,
law,
yeah,
and because you respected this person, you embody what they said, and the shame that you felt from that made you go the wrong path because you almost felt like you weren't good enough. Nothing I do is right. I keep on messing up.
yeah,
God must be mad
totally,
at me.
totally,
But then luckily this other person comes in that has more of a heart like what Jesus did. I came here to fulfill the law. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? So you have grace now and you're shown this type of love
right.
and they kind of bring some awareness to like, no, that's legalism. That's not, that's not what Jesus came down here for. And now you have this new perception of faith in God.
Bro, and because of that, I shared that with a girl. I'm like getting chills because of it. And dude, she called me, or she didn't call me, she sent like a voicemail
Mm.
bawling,
Wow.
saying like, she's like, dude, I'm so enamored by your faith. Like you said something so simple, and it was a comment. She was kind of coming at me, and she's like, oh, well, like, what about this? I was like, look, I make a bunch of mistakes. I'm so far from perfect, I can't even see straight. But I try to recognize the errors in my ways and correct them.
Mm.
You know, I'm saved by grace. You know, and I told her about I told her that, and then she said that she had gone through some legalism in her church, and I explained what Shelly did for me and how I felt the same way as her. And she goes, dude, I opened up my Bible, I started giving my life back to Christ. I'm gonna go find a church. Just bawling, bro. It's like one of the most powerful experiences. I'm like, I'm sending her a voice message back, crying too. You know, it's just a beautiful experience. You know, so it's a moment in time where I see that and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, this is making an impact.
Uh-huh.
I have to share my faith.
Right.
You know, it's almost selfish of me not to. You know, and there's a lot of people that might feel any type of way, but that's not for me to worry about. You know, all I'm sharing is good news and things that have troubled me with with my Christian walk,
Mhm.
and I'm sharing things that have saved me and gave me a new perspective in my faith, and now I don't I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just been the most unimaginable experience lately. You know,
Mm.
just giving it all, really surrendering to God and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make a bunch of mistakes. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know, people are gonna come at me for the mistakes that I make. But that's all right. You know,
That's right.
because I know who I am in Christ Jesus.
And when you met this girl that gave you this loving God perception, how old were you?
I was 23.
And okay, so you're 23 years old. You have this loving God perception now. How old are you
Yep,
today?
I'm 35.
Okay, so 35.
Yeah.
So for you, when you how when did you have when did you start training and say like, hey, I want to be a UFC fighter? Like, at what age was that?
It was 16 when I was lying to everybody in treatment.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that you were a boxer. Was
Yeah,
it a
that was a
boxer? It was a
boxer.
boxer. Yeah,
So I went to Hazelden, Plymouth, Minnesota.
yeah,
It's the not the adult one in Civic Center. It's the youth one.
yeah. Okay.
And so it's like for like teenagers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
young
Yeah,
adults.
adolescents and stuff.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
adolescents. And so they put me in there, and there was a couple guys who were a couple counselors who were former pro boxers. And I was telling everybody, because I used to stay up late at night and I would watch fights all night.
MMA fights?
MMA fights,
Okay.
boxing fights, kickboxing,
Just anything mixed martial arts.
anything mixed martial arts. I just
Yeah.
thought that they had the coolest character, because I used to love WWE and
Yeah.
WWF.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
Attitude
so
era. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. You know, NWA. You know, like Monday Night Raw. They were just larger than life, and they had character. And then, but you know, this was the real deal,
Yeah.
and the consequences were severe. You know, and you had to be in shape. You know, so they were the most in shape guys. They were larger than life. They had
Mm.
character, and it was the real deal. And I was like, man, I would love to be able to contain those powers. You know, if I had that, you know, I'd feel so confident. I'd feel good about myself anywhere that I walk, you know, just knowing that I had that power.
Is that because you feel like you didn't have that power, like for who
Totally.
you are? So you kind of feel like if I become this larger than life character, if I know how to fight,
Yes.
whatever it is, right? It's like
Yeah.
I am this person who's worthy, valuable,
Yeah.
desired, the man.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. All the above, you know,
yeah,
all eyes are on you. You know,
yeah,
people come in crowds to come see you and cheer you
yeah,
on,
yeah,
and you know, it's just something even as a kid, you know, when I was like 5, 6 years old, you know, looking at like Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk
yeah. Okay,
Hogan,
yeah,
rest in peace, Hulk
yeah.
Hogan. Looking at my action figure and being like, oh my gosh, like I want to be just like these guys. And at 5, I remember I was in kindergarten going to go get a toy from the store, and I looked at him and I flexed my bicep and it didn't move at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so weak. I was like, however, when I grow up, I'm going to be the biggest, baddest mother
Yeah,
effer anybody's ever seen.
that's
And
right.
people are going to feel my presence when I walk in a room.
So you have that when you're 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You're pretending you're a fighter at 16.
Yep.
When do you actually start training? At what age?
17.
So 17, and would you start with jiu-jitsu, boxing?
Boxing.
So you start boxing, and at this point, when you start boxing, you still have that legalistic view of God, though, right?
So no. I haven't even come to know Christ
Oh,
yet.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I didn't grow up in the church at
Okay,
all.
so the legalistic. How old are you when you had the legalistic view of Christ from that lady?
23.
Okay, so 23.
Yep.
And then you had the loving one.
At 23.
Oh, so the same year.
Yeah, so it was months later.
Cool. Okay. It's
Yeah.
good to know. Okay, so you're not born into Christianity.
Nope.
You're a 17-year-old kid now. Now you're starting to box,
Yep.
right? So once you get started, so from 17 to 23, there's no God in your life right now, right?
So I went to the Mall of America to go get a frisbee golf disc
Mhm.
because I used to frisbee golf with my buddies, and an evangelist was there, and he just like randomly walks up and he goes, "Hey brother, you got a second?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he goes, "Hey, do you know who Jesus Christ is?" And I go, "No, I don't think so. I think I've heard of him.
Mhm.
Who is that?" He goes, "Oh, it's our heavenly Father, the one that will grant you access to the gates of heaven, one that will wash all your sins from crimson red to white as snow. He's our heavenly Father who will never leave you nor forsake you." And when he told me that he was my heavenly Father that will never leave me nor forsake me, I was sold. I was like, "Wait, what?" Because
Why did that speak to you? You felt like,
because I always wanted my dad to be around, and when my
Mm.
dad did come around, he would only be around for 3 to 4 months, and then he'd go back to prison. 3 to 4 months, go back to prison, and he would and he chose alcohol over me and my family, you know, and he was just sick. He was spiritually sick, and he was addicted, and me and him would always say like, "Hey, we're gonna get sober together. We're gonna do this together," and then he would fall off, and I'm like, "What's the point anyway?"
So for you, you have daddy issues, it sounds like, right?
For
You want
sure,
your dad,
for
who
sure.
doesn't? So you hear this heavenly Father that will
Yep.
never leave you.
Yep.
You're like, whoa, never?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And how old are you at this point? when you
I'm
hear
20.
Okay, so 20 years old, you're having this guy evangelist come up to you. Okay, so you're
Yep.
stoked. You hear this Father that's never going to leave you or
Yep.
forsake you. So you get stoked.
Yep. Yep. And so I get stoked. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had just turned 20, and I would run by the church and I'd see them all hugging and happy and kissing. And I was like, oh wow, they're like so there's something going on over there. You know, and I even went to like a couple like fundraiser things at that church. It was a Catholic church, and it was always so much fun, you know, a good spirit and whatnot. And so I knew there was something to it. And when that guy said that, I go, "Hey, where do I got to put my hands? What do I do? Where do I go? Like, do I hop 3 times, duck down,
Let me know. Like, let me know.
left, right,
Yeah.
like type in a cheat code?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "If you want, brother," he's like, "I'll just put my hand on your heart and my other hand on your shoulder, and you could just repeat this prayer after me." And basically, I just accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, let him into my heart, you know, allowed him to love me and forgive me as far as the east is from the west, which is infinite. And something in me changed. He's like, "How do you feel, brother?" After he said the whole prayer, I can't remember the whole thing, but it was really beautiful. I was like, I feel good. I feel a little bit lighter.
So you felt something.
I felt something.
And this is the same day you met this guy, or this is what the church?
Yeah, this was in the middle of the Mall of America.
Okay, so yeah. So you received Jesus Christ from this evangelist.
Yep.
He prayed over you, and you
Yep.
felt something.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
just felt good. And my buddy Tony, whose mom 3 years later would say that to me,
Mhm.
I told him, I go, "Hey, dude, I just accepted Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior." He goes, "Oh man, welcome to the team." I go, "Yeah, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, you got a family now." I was like, "Whoa, that's cool." Because my family was always, I just always felt like my family wasn't, it just didn't, there wasn't like, I love you and I got your back and my family. My mom just was a kid raising kids, and my older brother said that he would always have my back, and when it came down to it, he didn't. It's like, and I just felt like my mom was like hoping I would get locked up. A bunch of shit. I'd turn you into the police. Da 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 da. And I'm like, dude, what? When I had my first MMA fight, my family showed up, and they realized they had to pay like $5 or $10 to get in, and they left. And so I was like, man, I'm not even worth $20. I'm not worth $20.
Do you feel like your family dynamic, you're kind of just like this person like existing with people in the house?
For sure.
Okay, yeah.
For sure. And I just didn't feel the love. It doesn't mean it wasn't there.
Right.
And later down the line, I recognized, everybody's just trying their best.
Yeah. People can only love you as much as they've been loved themselves, right? It's really what it
Totally,
is.
totally.
And I always say this to people, right? We're not here to blame our parents, but we are here to identify why we are the way we are.
Right,
We're
totally.
Yeah, we're still that, but we're
Yeah.
not blaming. And
No.
I think to be able to let go of that resentment towards our family or people who raised us, is the reality is, dude, therapy was a taboo back then. Think about it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if we were their age, we'd probably still be in our sickness.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we're blessed that therapy and getting help is such like a cool thing now. It's like a buzzword. Like, oh, you
Yeah,
got a therapist? Like, yeah, I do. You go
Yeah.
get help? Like, yeah.
Yeah, like going to a 12-step program or having a therapist, and it's more readily available, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
And think about
talked
social
about
media.
more.
You can like hear something.
Yeah.
Damn, I needed to hear that. Oh, this guy's
Right.
been through what I've been through. That wasn't back then.
Yeah, no. No way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the Wild Wild West, even 20 years ago.
So for you now, you have this encounter. You allow Jesus in your heart at
Yep.
20. And then from 20 to, so you're training at 17. When do you have your first professional? And what does it mean to go from an amateur fight to a professional fight? How do you engage
Just a
that?
contract.
That's all it is.
All it is.
Okay, so
Yep.
someone could be a professional fighter and have never fought in the UFC, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah,
UFC doesn't make you professional. It's just contracts.
Right, exactly.
So at what age do you have your first fight that's considered like an actual fight that goes on your record?
18.
So 18 years old.
Yeah. 18. I had my first fight was an MMA fight. So I was at the boxing gym for a year, and I thought I sucked because my buddy Manny was number 3 in the country, but he beat the number 1 guy in the country. He just wasn't ranked number 1. He was ranked number 3. But it was like number 3 in the country, bro. Like he was killing all the pros. Like good pros, like keeping up with Matt the Predator Vanda, who fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., keeping up with the Litzau brothers.
This is boxing right here, right?
Boxing.
Okay. Mhm.
And so he was like, hey, he like really protected my spirit. He was like, hey, I don't want you sparring or working with anybody but me. He goes, I'll tell you what to do. Don't listen to anybody but me, and you only spar with me for the first year. He goes, I don't want anybody beating you up too bad and taking your spirit from you. Wow. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, every fighter's got a spirit, a fighting spirit. He's like, and you have to protect it at all costs. He's like, because if somebody beats you too bad or does too much, it'll take your spirit away to fight. And I was like, okay, cool.
Looking at that now from where you're at today, like, is that a common thing people do?
Oh, yeah.
It is things people do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember guys would be like, because our coach was the vice president for the Hell's Outcasts, and the clubhouse was just across the street. And so on Fridays, all the Hell's Outcasts would come in, and it was just a rough crowd, and there was guys in with the Hell's Outcasts that would come on Friday, and
Is this like a fighting crew?
uh
Fighters or
there's some people that like used to fight for Rice Street that just joined the Hell's Outcasts because the coach was one of the top guys. So they would join that and run with those guys, and they were wild, and they would be like, oh yeah, I used to box, da 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 da, but Manny would piece all of them up. And me, I was kind of like too timid and scared. I was like, oh, these guys are like crazy. And Manny would fight anybody. And Manny would be like, hey, like, why don't you come back and start training? You're pretty good. And they'd be like, oh nah, forget that. I'm doing this now. I'm doing that. And he was like, what? Like, why would you ever quit? And he would just say things where I'm like, yeah. He would like impress on my mindset, because like I didn't have anybody to look up to or any mentors. Like the guys that my mom dated, a lot of guys, and she would move them into the house right away, and they were not good guys. A lot of them were thugs. A lot of them were like one of them raped one of my older brother's friends when my mom was out of town. Like it was a really dangerous environment that was in that coexisted in my household. Like I remember like people smoking a bowl from the bottom, and I was like, you don't smoke a bowl from the bottom, you smoke it from the top. I knew that in middle school. And this lady that was with one of my mom's boyfriend's friends, she ended up like ripping all of her hair out all over my bathroom, because I lived in the basement of the house, and like there's hair just everywhere. So it was just chaos, bro. Like I didn't know what to expect. So me and Manny, he kind of had a similar lifestyle.
like childlike,
Yeah,
mom and dad? Okay.
like same thing.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have his dad in his life. I didn't either. So me and him really connected, and we just had each other's back. Anything that he did, I did. Anything that I did, he did.
So you have this guy Manny, right? Which is amazing, right? You have that the vulnerability or the relatability through your guys' pain.
Yeah.
It brings you together.
Yep. And we didn't even know.
I didn't know. Oh,
we didn't
wow.
know. It was like totally similar lifestyle and everything, but we had no idea. Like we didn't talk about it.
Okay.
We just and we thought it was normal.
Yeah, I mean, it's all you know.
Yeah, it's like
your guys' world. That's normal.
Yeah, looking back, I'm like, we're like, what the heck? But
do you and did he protect you? Did he at this point when he wanted to take you under his wing? Now is he also doing that too because he saw potential in you too as a fighter or whatever he saw too? Is like, okay, I'm really gonna protect him.
He protected me from everything.
What do you think it was for you that you had like this gift for fighting? Because you're thinking about your story as a scared kid, right? You're very scared to yourself, it sounds like empathetic, emotional, and you just start fighting. What do you think he saw in you that you like? Oh, this guy has it. Like, what is it that you see in a person when you're like, oh, they got it?
Well, when I was 5, my dad tore up the trailer park, or the trailer that we lived in, and he beat the brakes off my mom and threw her stuff everywhere, called her fat, B, and like, and then my older brother went to go stop him. Bam! He knocked him down, and my aunt was holding me like this on the couch, and I'm watching the whole thing go on, and I'm terrified. My mom's like, I'm gonna call the cops. He rips the cord out, pushes her down the hallway, and in that moment, I was so scared. And I knew if I went up to try to stop him, he would do the same thing to me. Bah, get hit. And I just felt like weak, afraid. And like, even if I did have a voice, it wasn't going to do anything. So I just felt helpless in that situation. So I told myself I'll never be like that when I grow up. And Manny beat up one of my buddies, and I beat up, and I jumped in and made Manny fight me. And I got the best of him. I got him to the ground, and
like training fighting, right? Like street fighting.
No, like street fight.
Oh, really?
That's how me and him became friends.
Oh, wow.
Because he beat up my buddy bad, like the sickest street fight to this day I've ever seen in my life. It was like watching Picasso paint.
And so, but you guys were training at the same spot first. That's how you guys met, and this is outside of it. Oh, so you guys knew each other before.
Yeah, I knew him when I was younger, but I didn't recognize him because he grew like 1.5 feet.
Okay.
He used to be shorter than me, and then he ended up being like 6'4", 6'5".
Okay, so he beats up one of your buddies. You
Yep.
step in to challenge
I
him.
step in, beat him up, and he got my back, and he could have beat me up, but he's like, "Hey, I don't want to fight you." I was like, "All right, then get off me," being all tough. He's like, "I don't want to fight you." I was like, "All right, then get off of me." Rah. And he pushes me and then dips out, and and so those two get suspended. I get away with it. I come back to school and I see him, and I was like, and his buddy confronted me and was like gonna hit me at school, but one of my buddies, like, he's like, "Hey, let me take you for a walk," and he calmed him down. And when Manny came back, I apologized to him. I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm so sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. You just whooped my buddy so bad." And he's like, "Ah, it's all right." I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's cool." I'm like, "No way." I was like, "Bro, where'd you learn how to fight like that?" He's like, "Oh, up on the east side." I go, "How long you been fighting?" He's like, like 6 months." I was like, "No way, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm number 3 in the country." I was like, "Yeah, right. Somebody I know from Minnesota is number 3 in the country." He's like, "Yeah, I'm telling you, I just won the ringside worlds." I'm like, "Okay." And he won the silver gloves. And I was like, "No way, what?" And I was like, "Hey, do you think if I train with you, I could learn how to fight like that?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "You still smoking weed?" I was like, "Nah." And he didn't do anything, and I was, but I lied to him. And then once we started hanging out, he lived right next to my buddy Ben. And once we started hanging out and he saw that I wasn't like high or anything, he was like, "Hey, you ready to go to the boxing gym?" I was like, "Yes, let's go." And that's where it started.
So that's how you got started.
Yeah.
So you get in there, you're training, 16 years old, you get in, and you have your first fight at 18. That's considered
18.
like right?
Yep.
So what was that like? Like how did you know you were ready to have it? Like how do you know?
Bro, when I signed up for it, I was like, because I was beating everybody up at the MMA gym because I thought I sucked, bro. I sparred.
So you still at this point you think you're these 2 years of training at the gym, you think you suck?
I thought I sucked because all I did was go against Manny, and Manny would beat the brakes off. Like, Manny got me back for that day that I jumped in on it. He got me back, but we were like, and I thought he hated me, but we were cool about it. But he'd go and bully everybody into sparring him, and he sparred 10 people, 10 rounds. He'd have a fresh guy coming in. He never got tired. I was like, man, this guy is like just fearless. I wanted that. I was like, whoa, man, this guy, he'll talk to anybody. He ain't afraid of nothing. He accepts every fight. He's even trying to fight people on the street, and he'd provoke it.
Yeah.
He'd be like, he's just crazy. And
so you're training with him.
Yep, training with
only
him for a year, and then he started going down a bad path. And so he protected me from that too. And I kind of saw it too. So I started at an MMA gym. And they're like, "Hey, we're going to be having fights here. Does anybody want to sign up?" I signed up. 3 months later, I have an MMA fight. And I was the main event for it. And I was having like a panic attack. Like, it was 3 2-minute rounds. And
so it's 3 2-minute rounds.
Yep.
You're the main event.
I'm the main event.
And leading up to it, now you're getting closer. Now you're having a panic attack.
Oh, dude, I was full-blown panic attack. Couldn't breathe and going in there. And this guy was like, little Asian dude. He did a Jeet Kune Do and a JKD. I was like, "Oh, Jeet Kune Do." Is that
what Bruce Lee did?
Yeah. I was like, he studies Bruce Lee and he's Asian. I go, "Dude, I'm gonna get killed in here."
Yeah.
I was like, and bro, everything that I had learned for the past like 1.5 years, 2 years, went straight out the window as soon as that bell dinged. Dude, I remember walking up, and I had a coach, Mike Riley, and he would slap your legs, slap your body, and slap your face, and it went. And when he slapped my face, it went bap bap, and I saw black and white dots, and I was like, "I'm gonna get knocked out. Oh my gosh, this isn't good. No, this is so bad." And so we
and this is an MMA fight, right?
The
now,
MMA
right?
fight.
So you have what do you have, like 4-ounce gloves? What do you have?
4-ounce gloves on.
4-ounce gloves on. Okay, just grabbing everything.
Everything
right?
goes, and it's like we didn't have shin guards. It wasn't like California.
Yeah.
It was like just a mouth guard, gloves, a little bit of grease. Get in there, Tiger.
Yeah.
And he like slaps me, and it just puts me in flight mode. Like, fight or flight happens, and I was in flight mode. And I get in, and I look back, and I see the guy drop the pin in the cage, and I was like, "Oh no, what have I done? Why did I sign up for this? oh my God. I was like, I should crawl out of the cage right now and just say I'm not doing it. I wanted to so bad,
Wow.
but then I saw my buddies in the front crowd. They're like, yeah, Builder. I'm like, all right, yeah, like I got this. And then the guy was like doing a little thing with his arm, and I go, oh, he's got a thing with his arm. Oh gosh. Oh, and he's doing a little lip press thing. I was like, dude, he's got an arm and a lip press thing. I don't have any of that. I go, I better walk around and don't lose eye contact, because that'll make it look like I know some stuff. Yeah, press the gloves together. That'll get him. Oh yeah, he'll be worried then. And as soon as they're, you ready? You ready? And I was like, I'm not ready in my head, but my body goes, yeah, I'm ready. Oh, and then the thing starts, and I throw a big overhand right, and just take him down, and I'm just holding him like this, and he ends up on top. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything I learned, all the jiu-jitsu, all the boxing went out the window. I was not calm. I was so tight and tense and stiff, and I couldn't. Oh my gosh, breathe. I'm like I can't even breathe. Oh my gosh, bro. I was so worried. And get through the first round. I ended up on top, punched him a few times from mount, and busted his nose up.
In the first round or second round?
First round.
Oh, so first round you did that to him. Wow.
I flipped it around, got on top, punched him, busted his nose a little bit, and then they get to the ground. They go, Builder, calm down, breathe. And with the ice pack, I'm like, okay, coach. Okay, sorry.
You probably have so much adrenaline.
Oh, so much adrenaline, dude. Oh my gosh. You know, and I'm my own worst critic.
And what's the time between each round? How much time do you have?
1 minute.
So you have 1 minute.
Yeah,
1 minute.
1 minute.
You're just trying to...
Yeah, just get it all together. And they go, don't be afraid to throw. You know, come on, you got good stand up. And I had an Olympic USA boxing coach in my corner. I forgot his name, but he had just started there, and he was good, and he was helping me. He's, Builder, you could just calm down, you'll be good. Hey, work your jab, bro, you got beautiful boxing. I go, I know, coach. He goes, use it. I go, okay, coach, sorry. And he goes, you got it, buddy. So I go back out there, we're going, he's doing the arm thing again. And then I'm starting to get a little comfortable. I'm still stiff as can be. And I throw a Superman jab, boom, and I see his eyes go dazed. I go, oh, bam, bam, bam. I end up on top of him. Boof, boof, boof. He turns, I take his back. Boom, boom, boom. I hit him, and I hear him go, ugh, and it crunched. And I went, boom, one more time. And I went for a big one, and I felt my arm stop. I look up, and it was like this like super good like Bellator fighter. And he's like, no more. He was the ref. And I was like, yeah, let's go.
TKO?
Yeah, TKO. First one by a technical knockout.
Second round.
Yeah, I broke his orbital and his eye. It was crazy. His eye was super swollen. And I was just like, and I remember like getting done with that and being like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm never doing that again.
Really? Okay, so you probably have this moment where you're probably blacked out most of the time, right? You know,
yeah.
You just kind of go off adrenaline and
totally
and just going. So boom, you get off. You realize you win, obviously, right?
Yep.
Okay, you realize you win, and the first thing in your mind is, I don't want to do this again.
I am never doing this again.
Why was that your initial reaction?
Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this. Like yeah, I got the guy out of there. I won, but like that could have easily happened to me. Like, this is so intense. I can't handle it. Like, not because I'm comparing my insides to everybody's outsides. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking, and everybody that I see, they just look calm. That's the way I perceive it.
Yeah, that's how you see it, right? Just like, again, it doesn't matter how someone sees you, it's how do you see yourself.
Totally.
Because right now you're coming in with this almost imposter syndrome. You're this
totally
Blake Bilder, the emotional shot. I don't know anything.
Yes.
You know, I'm not loved.
Yep.
So you win. Your first reaction is, I never want to do this again.
I'm never doing that. And they wanted us fighting like every month. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, dude, I got to get the heck out of here.
So that's your first fight, you win.
Yep.
Now, how many fights did you have before you fought in the UFC? Because the first time UFC would be considered the Dana White Contender Series, right? That'd be your first
for sure.
UFC. How many fights you have between that?
So my whole amateur career, I had 38 fights. I went 36-2.
So 36-2 in your amateur.
Yeah.
And then
I had I was 1-0, 2-0 against Julian Baez, 3-0 Darian Chapman, 4-0 was Frankie Buenafuente. Yeah, 4-0 was Frankie Buenafuente. 5-0 was Regivaldo Carvalho. So I had 5 pro fights, and then the 6th one was the UFC.
Okay, so 39, 40, 41, 42, 4. So 43 fights, it sounds like, before your first UFC fight.
Yes.
So and 40, so you first fight, you win. You're like, I'm never doing this again. At what point did you start to realize, like, I think I'm good at this? What fight do you think that was?
Oh, that's good. I would say probably when I started boxing more. I figured I was pretty good when I was winning a bunch of amateur fights in MMA. I go, all right, I'm built for this, because our team was like crushing it. I was the number 1 45er in the country. Cameron Gilliam was the number 1 55er and 70-pound amateur in the country. And then my buddy Chase Walden was getting, he was like top in the country, top 5 in the country for middleweights.
So when you're number 1 at 45, you said 145 weight?
Yeah, 145 featherweight.
Number 1 in what? The country?
Yeah, and yeah, for the regionals.
For the regionals.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what does that mean when you're regionals versus number 1 in the country, number 1 in this, like?
Yeah, number one in the country, on like the regional on the regional US circuit.
Okay.
So not worldwide, but just for the US, I was number 1 amateur.
And your first fight's at 18. So
Yep.
So you're fighting right now without God in your life, 18 to 20, right?
Yep.
And then 20, God comes into your life.
Yep.
What you're winning all these fights, all that stuff's happening. Like, what I want to know is, now you're realizing you're getting good. I mean, you're number 1, obviously. That's something, right?
It was the numbers that like carried me. I was like, man, I haven't lost a fight. I was 33-0 before I lost my first fight, and it was at the National Golden Gloves.
What do you think it was that you're able to go that far without losing? Like, what do you think you were doing?
I just made it my entire world. I made everything about fighting. Like, if something didn't mix with that, I would drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a girl got in the way, she had to go.
Mm-hmm.
If anything got in the way of it, it had to go.
Because at this point, was UFC always your dream as soon as you started fighting? Like, is that like a talk about thing? Like,
Yeah.
okay, my goal is to UFC. Now that I'm fighting,
Yep.
UFC is the goal.
Yep.
Okay.
Ever since I started watching it when I was like 13, 14,
Mm-hmm.
in my mom's room when she was at work, I'd stay up all night watching fights.
So you go 33-0.
Yep.
Right? Your life's about it, right? You're making it about it. Your dream is to get to the UFC. What's that like, carrying that type of pressure when you're undefeated? Like, every time you're going, like,
yeah, like losing that first fight, I was devastated, but it didn't stop me. I had a boxing coach that just kept signing me up for fights. It was just like, I definitely wanted to be the number 1 in the world for nationals. And I was 27 at the time. It's like, it's like 26. Yeah, 27. 2017 Upper Midwest Golden Glove champion and National Golden Glove runner-up. Yeah, so I won that. I made it to the quarterfinals and lost to a guy that went to the finals, and he lost in the finals by split decision. So he was good from New Jersey, and so yeah, I had a few more fights. I went 36-2, so I had 4 more fights. I won 3, and then I lost another one in the semifinals. It was super controversial against one of the guys that owns the Ringside World Tournament from his gym. So I was
I see
like,
what you mean,
yeah. So I was like, hey, I thought I won. Like I was like, yeah, I thought you won too. I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, but it was close. Like they gave it to him. It's all good. I won it the year before, the Ringside Worlds a year before,
Mhm.
so he got that one.
And at this point, when you have God in your life and you're still fighting, like was God a big part before you have your first UFC fight? Like, was God like a component that you would use before every fight? Would you pray before every
Every
fight at this
single
point?
fight.
Really? So at this point, you're using God.
Every single fight.
Okay.
Yeah. I was totally relying on God,
Hmm.
even though I made a ton of mistakes. I did not do Christianity perfectly. I was constantly messing up. I was like, there's a verse where Paul says, the things that I know to do, I don't.
Hmm.
And the things that I know that I should not do, I do.
Hmm.
Like, why am I like this pretty much?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, should I keep on going like this? It says, of course not. We should always try to repent and go
Right. Be
the
better.
narrow path, but it's hard
Yeah.
and things get in the way and people make it seem like it's something that it's not sometimes, so I would get pulled off the path easily. But I never got pulled off for too long. And I always made sure that, God was just always there. God was always just there to pull me back right on time. A
Hmm.
certain person, a certain word, a certain service, a certain coincidence
Hmm.
would happen.
And for you, like, let's say somebody's trying to be like, wants to be a professional fighter, like, so you have God in your life as one component.
Yep.
Okay, so you have God. You're literally saying if it doesn't, if something gets in the way of my training to want to do, I remove it.
Yep.
What are you doing to feed your mindset to stay focused? What are you eating? What do you like? What does your day-to-day life have to look like so you can be able to, live this lifestyle?
Dude, I just, I mean, that's the thing, right? So to be able to not have a job and do this, like I was working construction where I would haul drywall and I would be working from 3 in the morning till 5 p.m. And then I'd leave from there, go train up at the gym for 2, 3 hours, and then have to go home and go to sleep like
Wake up
right,
really early.
bro.
Yeah.
It was like
Oof.
brutal. And
What do you think helped you? Like, because you hear something like that, right? Someone's like, dude, there's no way I'd want to, like, I can't make that work. I'll be tired. I'll be sluggish. Or people try to do it and they go,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
screw
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what helped you develop that, like, resilience to, like, you're probably not getting enough sleep. You're probably
Oh,
tired, like, but for whatever reason, you just made it work. Like, what
yeah.
helped you stick with it and not give up?
Well, it was the only thing. So when I would try to stop drinking and doing drugs before Christ, I would always, if I stopped, I would work out obsessively. Like I would run everywhere. If I stopped and tried to stay stopped without a program,
Hmm.
I would just obsessively work out. I would have to work out like literally like 6 hours a day.
Hmm.
And no matter how much I worked out, I just never thought it was enough. So you have a guy that's working out like 6 hours a day, literally,
Hmm.
thinking that is not enough. I need to do more. So dude, I mean, I was obsessed. And everything I did was not enough. Like I was in a scarcity mindset for somebody that is doing everything. And
Hmm.
so I would train 2, 3 hours, and then after I would go work out before the gym. Then I would train at the gym for 2 to 3 hours, and then after the gym, there was a guy. His name was Duran. He wrestled in high school, and he's like, you see, bro, all these guys, they go home. He's like, but me, I go and run an extra mile. He goes because my African spirit tells me that I need to do more than these guys. They aren't doing more than what is required. That's why they will not get what I have. And I was like, bro, yeah.
That's
So that
good.
always stuck with me. I was like, oh, he just does more. I was like, if you do more than the other person, they can't win.
Yeah, it's kind of like that idea of like the person who's lucky is the person who just works harder.
Exactly.
Simple
The
as
harder
that.
I work, the luckier I get, right?
And it's so true. Right? I think when you're trying to do things that, I mean, people forget, right? I mean, think about it. You made it to the UFC.
Yeah.
You got to remember, like, the percentage of fighters that can say
Yeah.
that, just because you see a lot of fighters in the UFC, but those
Right.
fighters in the UFC is a small percentage of the
Oh, yeah.
population of how many people try.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you want to do something extraordinary, you got to do things day to day that most people are never going to do. And
Yeah. I mean, dude, it was constant. Like, I would listen to motivational.
Mhm.
Like, I would listen to Tony Robbins. I would listen to
Yeah.
Jim Rohn. I would listen to
Yeah.
Les Brown speeches. I would listen to these obsessively in my car while I was working out. I would just to help develop my mindset,
Yeah.
because it took a lot of undoing to happen for me to have the doing.
Yeah.
It took a lot of things. There were so many things that I had to unlearn to be able to get on a path where I could believe that I'm actually worth being able to be in the UFC or be a champion.
Mhm.
You know what? You know when it was? Is when I started believing, is when I won my first title. At 24. That's when I believed. I go, okay, maybe I can do this. Cause I was like, they're like, hey, we want you to fight for a title over in Wisconsin. I go, dude, I can't. I'm not for a title. I was like, bro, I don't know about that. And I think I was 3-0 at the time. And I had a boxing coach when I was 19 or 20. He was like, yeah, he's like, if you fought, you go 6-0 easy. He's like, after that, it might be a little bit troublesome for you. And I always remembered that. I go, oh, I'd go 6-0 easy. He's like, yep, hands down. After that, it would start getting competition would start getting tougher, but I think you'd still do really well. I was like, okay, cool. So I had it in my head, like, dude, any fights that I get into, I'm going 6-0. But once I won that title, and I won it easily, like I won it in the first round in a minute and 30 seconds, I go, oh, I'm built for this. And then because I won the title, I go, now I have to act like a champion. Right? So now if I want to maintain this and uphold this, I have to, my whole entire being has to be that of a champion. So I go, it held me to a new standard. I'm champion now. I'm champion of Wisconsin. I'm going to other states. I'm from Minnesota. I'm going to other states and I'm a champion there. Whoa. Now people are gunning for me.
Yeah.
So people gunning for me made me raise my level.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started getting the belief. And then my thing was, if I'm a champion, I got to be a champion in everything. And dude, I just started winning titles. I went from that, winning that title, an MMA title, then I got my kickboxing title a month later. At 155-pound kickboxing title. And then I fought again a month later after that. I won another kickboxing title against a guy who had like 115 fights.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that, I started boxing. And dude, I win the ringside worlds. Fight 4 days in a row. I won the title. Boom. People are like, what the heck? And I'm telling everybody, I'm like, I'm going to be in the UFC. I'm going to be world champion. I'm going to be da-da-da-da-da. Dude, I got 4 titles. And then I win the Upper Midwest Golden Gloves. You have to qualify for the regionals. I beat the 3-time light heavyweight champion. That's 178. I went up a weight class. I beat a 10-time national champion by the name of Pool Both. He had 400 fights at light heavy. So I qualified. I win the regionals, I win the state, and then I fought 4 times to win the Upper Midwest Golden Glove championship title, and I won that belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're winning belts left and right. That's when you're believing in yourself.
Yep.
You go 36 and 2 or
36 and 2.
36 and 2. Now you have 4 pro fights.
Yep.
And now what? Do you just get a call from someone? Like, how did that door open to you to be like, hey, you're gonna be on Dana White's Contender Series?
Okay, so I had management at the time. I was 6-0 when I got the call.
Pro-wise, right?
Yeah,
6-0 pro-wise.
6-0 as a pro. Reggie Valdo was the 6th fight. I knocked him out. And then the 7th pro was the Dana White Contender Series. So I had 2 managers, right? You're my manager
Mhm.
currently,
Mhm.
and then I have another guy, and it's my old management. And I didn't have a contract with you. And these other guys I used to, but it wasn't working out. And so I win this big fight, and I read this book, How to Negotiate Anything, that my mentor, Tom Ronayne, gave me a while back. And in it says, don't make a decision. Have the people that are coming in your life work to have you in theirs.
Yeah.
I go, okay. So what I came up with is this. I go, okay. And I get them both on the phone. I go, hey, you can get me into the UFC? Of course, Blake. We're on this path together. Let's go. I go, okay. Perfect. I go, hey, you can get me in the UFC? Yep, we can do it right now. Really? You can do it. Mm-hmm. You can do it? Yep. Whoever does it first wins. And so I negotiated it like that. I go, all right, let's see who's willing to work for me. You know, if you really think that I can, and you really think that you can, and right away the manager that I had currently is, oh, that's unfair. No, da 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 da. And the other guy goes, got it. I was like, ooh. I was like, dude, you said that you have the connections. You said that you can make it happen, right? Well, bro, I mean, we need time. We need da 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 da. I go, dude, you just told me that you could do it. And these guys are like on their phone already, boom, 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 making it happen. I got a couple short notice fights that these guys offered me, and I turned it down. I go, dude, I'm not doing 1 week notice, 2 week notice to get into the UFC. I was like, dude, I want to be in there for a while. I don't want to like get in there and maybe come up short because, you know, like I'm preparing.
Yeah.
But I want to give me some time.
Yeah, this is a big deal for you.
Yeah, it's
like,
a big deal.
My first fight, I want to make sure I train.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So I go, hey guys, I go, these guys have got me 2 offers already. I'll go, hey guys, please, 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 do me a solid. Get me, if you do get me something, I don't want anything short notice. Give me like a month to get ready, month and a half to get ready. I was like, can you do that, please? And I go, yeah, of course. And so next thing you know, dude, I wrote it down all in my goals. I found this course by Jordan Belfort called The Straight Line Persuasion. And it helped me and my buddies all big time, bro. It changed our mindset, helped us become killers with tonality and sales. Beautiful course. Beautiful, beautiful course. I got to go revisit it actually. But there was a part that I missed in there. He's talked about goals. He's like, all right, everybody talks about goals, but nobody writes them down. He's like, if we're gonna do this, we have to write, you know, where are we gonna be? Who are we gonna be with? When are we gonna do it? And everybody talks about 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. He's like, it's way too long. I don't know where I'm gonna be a year, 5 years, 10 years from now. He's like, so what we have to do is write down 60-day goals. He's like, we're going to do it for the next 60 days. This is where I'm going. This is who I'm going to be with. This is what it feels like. And this is where I'm at. Who's going to be there? Where is it going to be? And I was like, man, whoa. And he's like, you have to write it down in a notebook with blue pen. Don't tell me why it's blue pen. It's just blue pen. He's like, so you write it down in your notebook, you sign it, date it, and it's done. And so I did that. I'm like writing it down, UFC, when the first fight, I'm with this person. It's over here. We're doing this. It feels like that. Did I sign it, date it? 20 minutes later, the manager calls me. Hey, what's up, bud? I go, hey, what's going on? And he's like, dude, we got to fight against Alex Morgan. He's like, are you down? I go, sign it. I go, send it over. Sign it. He goes, don't you want to know? No, I don't need anything. Sign it, send it over right now. I'll sign it. So he sends it over. I go, we were born for this. And I was like, it's in the ether. And I was like, it was written. It's like in the Matrix. It was destined to be. And so I sign it, send it over. And And I wrote it down.
Mhm.
I just did. I wrote it down, signed it 20 minutes ago. It has to happen. It can't not happen.
Mhm.
You know, the belief was there.
I bet 20 minutes later after that,
20
I'd have
minutes.
been tripping.
Dude, I was like, what the heck? And I had a month
Yeah,
and a half to get ready.
exactly what you wanted.
And I was like, sign it, dated, boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
I go, yeah,
Yeah.
UFC, Blake Bilder, let's go. Wait, who is this guy? I look him up, look at his Tapology. Number 1 in Quebec, number 1 in all of Canada. 6 foot, trains with Faraz Zahabi, George St. Pierre's teammate. Bunch of knockouts. Whatever, we got it. I don't care. If 3 pro titles, he had 16 pro fights. He was 12-4.
Mhm.
I go, whatever, we got this. I just wrote it down.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I go, it's gonna happen. I go, dude, I'm 6-0. He's gonna be 7. He's gonna make me 7-0.
All right, so now you're getting your first fight.
Yep.
It's the day of the fight. You're going on. What's going through your head as you're in that ring? And you know what I mean? You're getting ready.
It was absolute belief. 100%. 100%. So the whole night before and the whole day of, pure anxiety.
Okay.
Debilitating, crippling
Are you able to sleep? Or do
anxiety.
you struggle to sleep?
I got good sleep that night, but I was so anxious. It was sometimes it's like I don't want to go to sleep because I know I'm gonna close my eyes and wake up and it's gonna be the day. And it's like it's like I don't want to.
You're gonna prolong this.
Yeah, I don't want any way that I could prolong it. So yeah, it's like crippling anxiety. And then, dude, we're getting ready. The camera crews are coming in there recording us, and I'm just pacing back and forth, and I'm praying. I say my prayer, and I feel pretty good. I feel calm. You know, I always pray before all my fights, and I start to. All right, Builder, you're on. Ooh, camera's in your face, right? A big, nice industrial size camera right there. Boom, going on, and you start walking out. Let's go. You know, Coach Adam Ling, Coach Flame, and I'm walking out. Boom, camera's in my face, and then boom, I see my opponent and what he's saying. I see his interview a month ago from all this, and I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, he seems pretty confident, and I see mine. And it's me talking about my little brother, and me talking about how I've been preparing.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah. Oh yeah, no. He looks confident, but I'm more confident.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And so I'm like, let's go. I start going like this to the camera. I'm like, our time, baby. Minnesota, California. I'm put on for my city. Let's get it. And like I get in there as I'm walking out. It's like I got Mike Tyson in my head, like his speech, he's like, man, I'm terrified of this guy. I was worried every night. I had dreams and nightmares that he would beat me, you know, but the closer to the ring, more confident I get. More closer to the ring, more confident I get. When I get in there, I'm a god. I'm a king. Nothing can stop me. I'm invincible. You know, I'm the most ruthless, most undefeated champion that's ever been, you know. And I'm like, I'm feeling that, I'm embodying that, I'm believing that. That's a frequency that I'm at. I'm looking at him, and he don't look confident. And I go, and I'm like, I got you. It feels better than what I thought it would feel on the canvas. Like, oh, look, this canvas is perfect. I go, oh, this is gonna be it. I just went out there, touch gloves, smooth, boom. I didn't even get hit in the fight. Flawless victory.
First round, right?
First round.
Choked him out. Or was it choked out TKO?
Overhand right. Bah! Seen a clean open. I hear my boxing coach in my head. Boom. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, lateral movement, da 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 da. And he's like, Papi, when you see the opening, hit it with everything you got. Go as hard as you can with it. And don't hold back at all. Go through him. And boom, I fake a jab and I go off to the side and I see the opening. And I was like, should I go? And I'm like, go as hard as you can. Yeah. Hit him right behind the ear. He goes, ugh. And I just hop on his back and I sink in the choke. And I'm like, oh, this is it. And I start getting it tighter. And he goes like this. And then and out of desperation, I push my hips in, and he jumps back to land on me, so I'd let go, and it just got tighter, and I was like, oh, go to sleep, because it'd be sick for the highlight, for
Yeah.
my highlight reel. But he tapped, so I pushed him off of me. I'm like, let's go. Woo! I go get that pen ready. To Dana and to Sean Shelby and McMaynard, the matchmakers, and man, crazy.
So you win it.
Yep.
So you win it first round, flawless.
Yep.
Your dream comes true. You're in
Yep.
the UFC, man. And I love that. It's again, right? Your story just shows somebody who, comes from dysfunction, but sometimes that pain that you go through, right? That day you said, seeing your dad beat up your mom, right?
Yeah.
I'm never gonna let that happen to me.
Never.
Right? That's where the seed's planted, and then you have this friend who introduces you to boxing.
Yep.
He protects you and guides you.
Yep.
Because he sees something in you, and then because you're focused, not perfect, but focused, you learn about the power of God.
Yep.
The power of manifestation and
Yep.
positive words, right? Like Tony
Yep.
Robbins, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, these people. You make to the UFC and you win. And the cool thing is, before I ask you the final questions too, the cool thing is you show this sense of it's not like you're some superhuman. You're like, I got anxiety.
No.
I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm even good.
I'm like suicidal
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. Like,
You're
dude,
like, I'm
suffering from depression
Depression,
every
yeah,
single
you know what I
day.
mean?
Yeah.
And but it's like that idea, like God says, like, hey, it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay
Yeah.
to feel doubt, to feel anxiety. That's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you can't do something,
Totally.
but don't embody it. Like you said,
Yeah.
guilt, yes, you made a mistake, but shame is I am the mistake. So
Yeah.
you can feel what you're feeling, you can think it, but don't become it. Your
Right.
thoughts are not always truth, right? But be careful,
Exactly.
because your thoughts can create your reality if you allow it.
Yeah. I learned the process of manifestation in a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He says it's TFAR. Thoughts become feelings. Feelings lead to actions or inactions, which leads to a result. And he goes, the only thing before that is programming.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so you gotta, subconscious and conscious programming.
Yeah.
So if you can get the subconscious to work with the thoughts, and the thoughts, feelings, actions, and results line up. And so it's a perfect storm. I read that book when I was 20.
I love that.
And it all just came together. I was like, oh my gosh.
And it's cool too, because as we come to the final 4 questions, that might be a book you recommend. But
oh yeah,
the first one's going to be, what are 3 books you would recommend to somebody that would completely transform their life?
Oh my gosh. All right. First, the Bible, obviously.
Everyone's saying that. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's
First
always
is
like,
the
hey,
Bible,
so the Bible,
number 1, because
Yeah.
that's where everybody gets
their books from.
their books from. Like,
think about it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, all the wisdom and every path is written right there. And
Yeah.
I think everything that you read is just constructed in a little bit different of a form of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad book, you
Right.
can take that from the Bible too, of
Yeah.
like when people veer off on the bad
On
path.
that path.
The second would be Secrets of the Millionaire
just-
Mind
which
by
you just
T.
talked
Harv
about.
Eker. Absolute game changer. Totally transformed my thought life. He explained that blaming, complaining, and justifying, those 3 things can never be in our vocabulary. He says to take your thumb, put it against your throat, and physically run it across and go like that. He's like, why? And it seems brutal. Why? He's like, but you're cutting yourself off from the spirit and the riches of life. So Millionaire Mind, I wanted to be wealthy. But what happened is he taught me about wealth and relation, taught me about wealth and spirit, emotions, and emotion, relation, the physical riches, and just health being wealth, and protecting your thought life as well. So I was able to filter that and learn the process of manifestation, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. And it was a good guide, so I read that, absolute game changer. And then everybody recommends Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, yes.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and essentially we kind of took what he did and replicated that, you know,
Mhm.
because he goes and meets Andrew Carnegie, the
Mhm.
richest man in the world at the time. And the guy goes, "Hey, I'm not going to pay you a dime or a dollar, but I am going to have you go and interview the most wealthy people in the world, and I want you to write about it." And because of that, because of his surroundings, and he goes, "But also, before you go and do this, I just want to let you know I'm not going to pay you a dime." And he goes, and he's like, it was of absolute certainty that I said yes in the moment. I said, not only will I do it, but I will go ahead and do it with uh absolute perspicacity and do it with everything that I have inside of my soul to be able to do this. And Andrew Carnegie tells him, he's like, "Oh, if there was any less of an answer, I would have told you to leave." He's like, "But because you were so enthralled and all in on it, your enthusiasm to get the job done has
Mhm.
awarded you this opportunity." And then Napoleon goes on to interview some of the greatest
And people.
minds at the time, and he records in a journal all the things that he got from it, like getting a definite chief aim in life,
Mhm.
you know, and he weighed out all the common denominators that all the great people had. And so what it does is it makes you consider the source, you know, it makes you consider who is telling you stuff, you know.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna take, you know, I'm not going to take wrestling lessons from a ballerina, you know, or
Mhm.
financial advice from an employee at McDonald's. You know, it's
Mhm.
nothing against them. You know, it's
Mhm.
just you might not have the formula for what it takes to have riches. You might want to get sound advice from a therapist, you know,
Mhm.
to be able to heal a traumatic past, you know,
Right.
instead of just like somebody who doesn't know anything about it. So
Mhm.
you always have to consider the source. So
Source.
those three books
I love that.
were instrumental
Mhm.
in changing my life. I mean, I just get giddy just talking
Yeah,
about it,
could
thinking about
tell.
it.
I love all the voice changes that you
Oh
do.
yeah.
My second question, which is what was one mindset shift that completely changed your life?
Hmm, that's a good question. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're both right.
Hmm. Henry Ford,
Henry
right?
Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I started to believe and I started to have faith, like real true faith, where you don't know. I mean, like, dude, I was suicidal my whole life. I was
Mm.
depressed my whole life. And when I started to believe in myself and started to stop believing the lies, the
Mm.
unlearning process and learning a new way of thinking, and then learning that the new way of thinking could create a new feeling,
Mm.
and then identifying the things that, gosh, I was complaining, I was blaming, I was justifying, you know, and then getting in a 12-step program where they're like, "Hey, yeah, we can't we can't be resentful at any of these people. We have we have a part in it." You know, our resentments, our sex inventory, and our fears hold us back from having the greatest life that we could ever live.
Mhm.
And they're also the three things that hold us back the most in life.
Mm.
And it's the thing that when people come into a program, they're so afraid of.
Mhm.
One, two, and three, I'll believe in a God. I'll believe that you can restore
Mhm.
me to sanity, but I'm not willing to do the work.
Yeah.
You know, and so once I started believing that I wasn't a mistake and that I just made mistakes, just like
Mm.
everybody else. And I could see people in a room that I would go into that made a lot of mistakes, some very severe, and they were able to get past it and move forward. And that changed my life.
Mm.
It's the power of belief, the power of believing that I could do it and that I wasn't subject to something that I had done in my past. But I was the gleaming reality of the lessons that I've learned in present time from what I learned from the past, you know. And when I get to that amend process, I go, okay, if I'm really gonna amend this, I'm gonna mend this. I have to make sure that I don't do the things that caused all these resentments and caused all this havoc in the past. And if I can just mitigate that, I don't do it perfect, but if I can mitigate it and not go back to doing that, to doing the things that caused me so much grief and turmoil and turbulence in life, then I can move forward and have a much better, clearer path, and I can have more high quality problems, you know? And so, yeah, just having that belief, bro,
That's
really just
good.
saying, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
If not me, then who?
Mm.
Yes, I can. I can.
Mm-hmm.
Believing I can. Yeah, I am the one. I can. And just really, even when deep down you're like, man, I don't know. Gosh, I'm so afraid. And the
Yeah.
feelings are so real.
Yeah.
And my mind is playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like fighting so much, because I had to fight through more than just a physical battle. I had to fight through
Mental.
a spiritual,
Mental,
mental, emotional,
psychological.
relational,
Yeah.
psychological. I had to fight the people that were telling me that that were condescendingly saying, "Oh yeah, you got it, buddy. Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you can do it." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I can." They're like, "Oh yeah, I know." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Let's yeah." Like, you know, and there's a lot of people that you think have your back and don't, and navigating through that, it was so much, you know, so much unlearning to learn, you know, but having that belief and that
I
I
love
can
that.
attitude.
That's good. Yeah, I think the idea of, right, it's the only, my buddy says, right, the difference between a homeless person and a billionaire is one thing, it's mindset, and that's it, right?
Totally.
That's how your mindset is everything. My third one, right, second to last question is, and I love this one. What is the worst piece of advice someone's ever given you?
The worst
The
piece
worst
of
piece of advice is a little
advice.
bit different, right?
You're perfect just the way you are.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Elaborate, because this is a good one. I want to hear what you say.
Yeah. And although there's a lot of truth in that, right? If you're not doing the right thing, then, you know, I was reading this in the Bible the other day, and it all goes back to source, right? You know, a bad tree can't bear good fruit. Only a good tree bears good fruit. You know, and a bad tree, they have to chop it down and throw it in the fire. And it doesn't produce anything. They have to start over. You know, so you're perfect just the way you are. And it's like, well, if like I'm not doing good in the world, I'm not producing any good fruit, I'm not sowing good seed. You know, and also it keeps you right where you're at. No, it's like we are perfect. We're perfectly imperfect, right? However, some people can use that as a way to
Justify
justify where they're at. And then you put the ceiling on where you're at. You're like, oh, I'm perfect just the way I am. I'm perfect, just living off the government. We see it all the time. Oh, I'm perfect, just you know, just doing drugs. It's fine. I'm not hurting anybody.
This is who I am.
This is who I am. Yeah.
It's either you like it or you don't.
Yeah. This is my identity. This
Yeah.
is who I am. And I'm perfect. You know, and although that's true, there is a moral compass inside each and every one of us, and that says, like, if you know to do better and you don't, like, to know and to not do is to not know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you know that you should do better and you don't, then you never knew in the first place. You know, you have to strive to be better, to be helpful, and to be of service in the world. And if I had somebody that kept me with that belief, I would have stayed stuck for so long. What do you think?
you're good as you are can be taken out of context in the sense of like, you're good as you are, right? Sometimes we beat ourselves up, right? But also you got to realize too, if there's things you got to work on, like be real with someone. It's kind of like the idea of like, hey, just keep doing you. You're good. But
Yeah.
what happens if me saying that is like you being
Yeah.
disrespectful,
Yep.
dishonest,
Yep.
unloyal.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of like sometimes you gotta be real with people. Like, hey,
Yeah.
like I love you for who you are and everything, but here's some things you need to work on.
Yeah.
And I think
And
being able to have that conversation with self is very important because we're always looking for ways to blame.
yeah, and one of the things that I saw on the coins in the beginning, the first thing that I saw in a 12-step program was to thine self be true.
Yeah.
To thine self be true. And I go, there is something to this statement, and I could never be honest with myself.
Hmm.
I could never be honest with myself until I went to a 12-step program.
And then for my final question for you, you'll be looking at this camera directly. So there's somebody right now watching this video and they have these big dreams that they're going after, but their mind's telling them you can't do this. Maybe people told them they can't do it. Um, but they have these big dreams, right?
Mm.
What would you want to tell them so they don't give up on chasing their dreams?
That's such a great question. To I wish I could give everybody like a pill of self-awareness. I wish there was a certain word or phrase that I could say that could make you believe in yourself, that could make you erase all the memories of the people that told you that you weren't good enough, that you couldn't do whatever it is you wanted to do, that made you feel bad for having the thoughts that you wanted to be something more. And I wish I could help you erase the voices that said that you can't be what you desire to be, that it's impossible, when really people are just speaking from their own fears. I wish there was something that I could say that would let you know how much you're loved and how important you are, and that your life matters so much, and that you're such a big deal, and that if nobody has told you ever in your life, including yourself, that they love you, just know that I love you, and you are a big deal, and you're important, and you matter. And every decision that you make should be filled with that belief and that thought process that you are enough and you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to, truly. And I felt alone and scared, and I didn't want to live for so long. And now I have a life that's truly worth living. And it's because I was able to surrender and give up the thoughts that weren't serving me. I wish I had the proper words and sequence that could make you believe that. I wish I could just give you a drink and, hey, drink this and it'll all go away and you'll believe in yourself and you'll be better. But it takes a lot of unlearning, like it took me. It took a lot of reflecting, and it took a lot of work to be able to pray for those things. But I was reading today that we have to be mindful of the things that we pray for, and all we're praying for is like the things that we're asking for. So whatever you ask for and seek and knock, it will be given to you. Anybody that asks receives. To him who seeks, they'll find, and to him who knocks, the door will always be open to you. So I say, be careful about your thought process and really be mindful of the things that aren't true for you, and get rid of the justifying and complaining and blaming. Justifying means it's okay where you're at. No need to grow. It's okay that I'm doing what I'm doing, especially if it's bad and in a negative connotation. Complaining means I'm not grateful for the moment that I'm in right now. justifying means that, yeah, you know, my actions are justified. And complaining, I'm not even having a conversation. I'm just saying like, hey, I'm not grateful for this. I'm not grateful for that. This is bad. This is bad. And the person that you're talking to is gonna just do the same, and nothing ever gets done. There's no solution. It's only problem. So we have to really be mindful of the thoughts that come into our minds, because we feel a certain way about that, and then we act on it by talking like that. But we talk to ourselves first before we talk to anybody else. And so we have to make sure that it's positive, and it's solution based, and we need a lot of awareness and a lot of truth to enter into our mind and into our heart, to be able to realize that we might be going astray, and what we're doing might be wreaking havoc not only in our lives but others. And I promise you, you will reap a different result if you pay attention to the things that you could work on and grow. You know, try and bring your attributes up to a 99 score, you know, never 100, because we're not going to be perfect, you know, but bring it up to a 99 where you're socially talking to people, you're emotionally stable and helping people, you're relationally reaching out to people and being kind to people, you're spiritually connected and seeking to grow in that relationship, and emotionally balanced, where you're not yelling and causing more harm than you're doing good. And this is a lot of work that needs to be done, but it all starts from within. And then when we can master ourselves and our emotions, then what starts to come out of us starts to be good seed. And Galatians 6:9 says, never grow weary of doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. So don't give up.
I love that. Well, hey man, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this episode. I'm grateful for our friendship.
Me too.
I'm grateful for your time that you spent here with us too. I know a lot of people are going to get some nuggets of wisdom from there. And like I said, I'm going to be bringing you on for multiple episodes to focus on other aspects of your life, because there's so much more to your story that I know people will love and get a lot of wisdom from. If people want to find you, where can they reach you at? Where can they find you?
It's Blake the Builder, BlakeTheBilder on all platforms, you know, and we're growing the YouTube, the Instagram, TikTok, and whatever else I get on, maybe Kick, start streaming, but yeah, that's where you can find me, you know. And you know, if you get on there, you know, just spread more love and positivity and joy. That's what we're all about. You know, there's a lot of people that like to, you know, because they're behind a screen, you know, it's less personal, so they want to spread like just troll or hate, you know, just try to come on and get with the wave of positivity, and you know, I give free game for everybody, so come on and join in on the fun. We're just having a bunch of fun.
I love that. Well, hey buddies, thank you so much for being on this episode, and again, thank you.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.